If you're not tracking your mileage, you could be missing out on thousands of dollars in tax deductions every year. Seriously. In this video, I'm going to show you why tracking your mileage matters, what the IRS expects out of your mileage log, and the best tools to make tracking your miles super easy. Before we start, I'm Nick Kobos. I'm an EA and QuickBooks Pro Advisor and founder of Saga Accounting Solutions, a bookkeeping and tax practice that's helped dozens of clients with their taxes and business finances. So why does tracking your mileage even matter? Well, the IRS gives us two ways to deduct business vehicle expenses. The first is using the standard mileage rate. The standard mileage rate is a fixed rate set by the IRS every year on how much we're able to deduct per mile driven for business purposes. For 2025, that rate is 70 cents per mile, which means that 5,000 miles driven for business purposes equals a $3,500 tax deduction. As you can see, these mileage deductions add up quickly. The second way that the IRS allows us to deduct vehicle expenses is using the actual expense method. And under the actual expense method, we actually deduct the dollar for dollar expenses that we incur in operating and maintaining the vehicle. The challenge with the actual expense method is that many business owners have vehicles that are used for partial business and partial personal use. In these scenarios, the IRS requires us to prorate the actual expenses based on the percentage of the vehicle's use that is for business purposes. What that means is that we still end up having to track our miles unless our vehicle is used exclusively for business. So what does the IRS require out of our mileage log? Well, the IRS's requirements for mileage logs are identified in IRS Publication 463, Travel, Gifts, and Car Expenses, and really boil down to 5 things. The first is that your mileage log or any records must be kept timely. What that means is that it's probably not a good idea to wait until the end of the year to recreate your mileage log. Your mileage log should be something that you create as you go, on a daily or weekly basis. The second requirement is that we document the actual amount of the deduction, which means documenting the mileage of each business trip and the total mileage for the year. The third requirement is documenting the date of each business trip. Requirement number 4 is documenting the place or description of your business destination. The fifth and final requirement is documenting the actual business purpose of each trip. And a valid business purpose can be anything that requires you to drive in support of your business with a couple of exceptions, including commuting to and from your primary place of business. So if you have an office in town that you commute to every day, that commute is not tax deductible. That said, commutes to irregular places of business are tax deductible. For example, if you were working on a project that required you to work on site at a client's facility for 2 weeks, your commute to and from that client's facility would be deductible. It's important that you document the actual business purpose for each trip you take. Hey, if you're finding this helpful, do me a quick favor and hit the like button or drop us a comment if you have any questions. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future tips that could help save you money on taxes or help you grow your business. So now let's talk about the best tools to use to actually track your mileage. There are plenty of free and paid apps out there that'll help you automate your mileage tracking. A couple that I've used are MileIQ, the QuickBooks app, and Stride. My personal favorite is the Stride app, which I'll show you a quick demo of, but they really all get the job done, and the most important thing is finding one that works well for you. All right, so here we're on the home screen. I'm just gonna show you a quick demo of the Stride app, which is my personal favorite for tracking mileage. And so when we open up the app, it's pretty simple to use. You just hit this plus button and you'll hit track miles. And that's gonna link to your phone's GPS. And as you drive around, it's gonna record the total time, which doesn't really matter, but more importantly, the total distance that you drive. And it'll show you your little ticker at the top showing you your tax deduction for that drive. So in this case, I'm not actually driving anywhere. I'm just sitting in the office, so it's gonna stay at 0. But when you're done, when you get to where you're going or you're done driving around, you go ahead and hit this I'm done driving. Yes, I'm done. And this is why Stride is my personal favorite to track your miles under. And so in my case, I've got my accounting business, which would be consultant. And then we also have some rental property. And so if I'm driving as part of kind of my landlord responsibilities, I would tap on the rental host. That's gonna go in a different place on my tax return. And so it's nice to be able to keep these separate and not have to go back through manually at the end of the year. So for this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit consultant, tap that. My trip is saved, perfect. And I just hit done. Hopefully that helps show you how easy tracking your mileage can be. Tracking mileage is a super low effort, guaranteed deduction that anybody who's self-employed or owns a business should be taking advantage of. If you need help applying this to your personal situation or to your business, feel free to reach out. Link to our website is posted below in the description. And aside from that, we really appreciate your time and attention, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks.